Ladies and gentlemen, coaches, course creators, dreamers, and doers, the time has come to give a roaring welcome to our star guest. Get ready to be dazzled, inspired, and empowered like never before. Now, who do we have here? Not just another health coach, but a wizard of wellness, a guide in your journey of self growth, a beacon of hope for the scattered minds. Buckle up because you're about to meet a man who quite literally turns lemons into lemonade. The spotlight is on, and the drum roll is for none other than the extraordinary Rory Lemon. With a powerful journey spanning 2 decades, Rory has been the guiding light for those who've been tirelessly fighting to fit in, turning frustration into focus and scattering into clarity. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk because Rory himself is a shining example of neurodivergence. Yes, you heard it right. His life experiences and learning have been his laboratory, creating a potent solution for the challenges of neurodiversity. So hold on to your hats as we dive deep into the world of holistic health with our very own visionary, our guide towards positive action, our architect of dreams, Rory Lemon. Welcome, Rory.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you, Alex. I'm very excited now.
Yes. We are super excited to have you here as well, Rory. So we have a bunch of questions, and we want to get through this as quickly as possible and get all the valuable knowledge that you're about to share with our audience here. So, Rory, what is your backstory? How did this all start?
Okay, so I was I was in my parents' living room when I was waiting for the letter to arrive. It was my GCSE test results that when I was 16 years old at school, and the letter arrived. There was anticipation and hope and concern about what the future may hold, because when I opened it, I saw an array of different types of results, and it was really interesting to see. But when I say interesting, it's because I failed my English, my first language, English language. Okay, so really, to me, I've done really well in like the coursework material, which is all self-paced. And then there's the sit-down time exams. They're all massive mark difference of much lower grades, and then failing my first language. And I was there, and I just thought, okay, so I'm more of an artist. I'm more of a not a communicator. I'm not pushy, assertive kind of person. So I will just go and do media studies and some more creative studying. I didn't go for a degree at that point, and I got into music, and I really thought that's who I was, and I didn't really went along like this, and I didn't realize underneath. It's only in the last few months, jumping to really realizing that it was that moment that shaped like the next 15, 20 years before I took a step into doing a master's degree, just thinking I'm going to have to do something, because and it's trying to cut this story so that it's nice and succinct, really. But basically, there was a resentment and a frustration underneath. Against what I knew I was intelligent, but I had huge visionary ideas, but no way of them just coming out. And I realized that that's actually a muscle, learning to talk your ideas and speak your stories is all just practice. And so I just stayed where I was and just was happy staying safe, playing guitar, listening to music, DJing, until there was a point where there was a traumatic experience, and I didn't know how to talk about my feelings. I didn't know how to ask for help. I was embarrassed about asking for help, and it got worse and worse. This frustration, turning and resentment turned into depression moments, and then a huge amount of paranoia of thinking that I'd broken myself mentally, exhausted, and then the physicalities came about. I just couldn't sleep, and my eye was flickering like this, and I just thought I was paranoid about even my friends not liking me anymore. And it was I kind of knew there was something not right going on. I kind of was also really aware that I had this thread that there was a possibility, but I was feeling all the feels, worried about all these things happening, but kind of wasn't believing them at the same time, even though I was feeling it all. And so I had reflexology for 14 weeks, fortunately, which is a foot treatment, and deep relaxation once a week for 14 weeks for an hour. And I came out of what could be described as a psychosis experience back onto dry land, as it were, and being able to smile again and just feel normal, you know? And so that was a profound experience for me. And then I wanted to learn massage to help others with this process. I thought there's like the body relaxation, something happened here, and my mind was better. And I thought, this is incredible. That was when I was 20, 21, 22. So I then studied massage and practiced it for 8 years. And then I started burning out physically doing that as well, working really hard with my hands, and had osteopathy from a wonderful mentor and friend, and healed from physicalities. And I thought, this is something that I've got to move into, because I can't keep going like this either. So I burnt out mentally before in the past, and then I burnt out physically in the past. But I saw how it was all possible to heal given the right circumstances, and that was what was really interesting. So I didn't stop there, but what happened was, with studying the 5 years of osteopathy, in the first year I insisted on a dyslexia test, because friends had kind of hinted at it throughout my 20s, but I just didn't see the point in actually getting a test, because I thought I knew who I was. I didn't know how much that had shaped me before in the past, or the comparing of grades and intelligence. So really, I insisted on the test because it came out as mild on the basic test, and they said it could be, typical, non-neurotypical on a bad day, could be mild, so they're not going to bother. And I said, no, please, and I got the test, and it came through, and it showed that my reasoning was very high, but my working memory of storing and taking in information and giving it out was so low that it explained and then my processor speed was slow as well. So, and I was there. No wonder I was frustrated the whole time, because I wanted to speak. I even did a personality test at the start of the studies, and I was introverted at that point. And then the third year of the master's degree, because it was an all-in-one master's for osteopathy, I came out as extroverted. And so even personalities, it showed that even personality can change if whatever you're wanting to focus on. It may feel a struggle to change something that deep, but it's just all belief. A lot of stuff is about what we believe about ourselves, the way we are. And so yeah, then this, I just, to finish it off as succinct as possible, I really still felt like there was something going on here, that I was studying osteopathy. I got through it all. I had to write my own report to get through the final exams, because I was getting the same feedback as at school, that I wasn't showing the knowledge and why, which is important to show that you're safe, but it wasn't being supported in the way it was being drawn out of me, especially. So I had to take it on board to actually say, look, this is the way I'm challenged by information coming in and out, and this is where my strengths are. it was I was able to have the actual exam, be able to modify it in a way in which I could show that I knew the information. So I got through all of that, and then I was working with that, and then the pandemic came along. So which again just came up for me was something bigger is meant for me here, and I just got drawn into health coaching because I found that I wanted to become a mentor and a coach, and the only way of doing that was to be mentored and coached. So I went through a whole nother roller coaster again, and I feel like I've finally found my calling, because I can now get to help people really with anyone that resonates with what I'm saying now, or is somewhere a few steps behind, someone that's supportive, cared. I call it intelligental. So, when we're intelligent, but we're gentle, and we're not necessarily assertive, but we can learn to be, so that we can actually show the world. And if these people that are not telling their truth, and they're showing their ideas, I just think what would become possible if there was a balance in all the kind of introverted, but those kind of people that have got a lot of ideas but don't think they're assertive, could be completely balancing out the struggles of the world. Who knows, right? But it's just an idea going forwards.
That's an inspiring story, Rory. I love the part where you transformed yourself from an introvert to an extrovert. That was in a span of 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Many people, they start as an introvert when they, get out of college, and then, they work their ways, and it's beautiful. What a transformation that you had, and how you faced adversity, and then focused on your strengths and built it all up from then. It's an inspiring story. Now, what does neurodivergence mean to you?
Yeah, great question. Neurodivergence to me, and this is what I really. This is something that comes from learning about holistic health, and the philosophies of osteopathy allow us to understand what to focus on. It's not that reduce down the typical medical system reduces down to get the highest quality understanding of how one element works with another element, and that works really well to work stuff out, and it can work for all of the emergency services and all of that sort of stuff. But there's a whole load of environmental factors that don't get and stress factors that don't get included in the Western medical system. So the functional medicine has come about in the last few years, and that's similar to what's come from osteopathy 200 years before that. Is the idea that we look at what works in the body, that the body actually does healing constantly all the time, and we just promote that and see what happens. In the same respect, what happens with the mind, and if we can focus on what works with the mind and help it to support it, then surely what is biodiversity around what species evolve over millions of years, and change based on the innate intelligence passed through genetics, but also the environmental factors shaping it. And so neurodiversity to me is the scope of how we react and respond and learn with our nervous system, not just the body. So the body is adapting to situations, and so is the mind and the structural neuroplastic element of the brain and the nervous system. So to me, neurodivergence is typical. What the typical term is it's a set of traits that explain how someone might react and respond in the moment, and at this current time, because of the current way in which intelligence is in the past is labelled. as being able to just speak exactly what and memorize everything and be really sort of rational as rather than emotional. So yeah, this neurodivergence is a set of traits that often comes from what's not normal, but that can often mean that not fitting in, or that it's not usual, not potentially negative. Especially some of the names of neurodivergence, like ADHD and dyslexia, they have dyslexia. It's like, what's wrong with language processing, rather than it's just what if it's just a different type of language processing, So going into what neurodivergence means to me is to come back to the functionality and just understand that if adversity comes along and we have to deal with it. So for instance, if it's a physical, like biodiversity, physical challenges that come, the fish grows arms to deal with like something and has to deal with it physically. So the mind, if adversity comes along, like, oh, I'm not intelligent enough to, or I'm comparing myself to others and I can't express myself, or something's, can't express my emotions, something like that potentially would cause. So I'm interested in the cause of neurodivergence, not necessarily the output of the traits and labeling it as such. So there's nothing, I'm not trying to belittle anyone's struggles that are seriously affected by their situation or the condition, but I just would love to see that if we understand it from the root cause, the roots, and understand that there's possibilities of healing and changing, and given the right environment, then neurodivergence, we could diverge back onto a more healthier path as such.
That's wonderfully said. When you talk about this is a very sensitive topic, right? Mental health, holistic health, neurodivergence. When you get into these kind of topics, it's often misunderstood, and people don't, accept it to the level that we want them to. Because when we talk about physical health, people are open about it, but when it comes to mental health, it's not that open yet. Even in developed countries like the US, UK, people are still not open about it. So if you were to bust one myth about neurodivergence and how it's misunderstood right here, right now, what would it be?
If there was one thing that is misunderstood,
A myth. Yep.
It's that one thing. This it's a funny thing about neurodivergence is probably that they often become creative with their thinking because of not being able to express themselves in a certain way. So I'd say the one thing is maybe a lack of true self-expression only through believing that they can't. Like before I just hadn't practiced the mental muscles of talking, for instance. And now I can get scared by pressing the live button, but I don't need a script anymore. I had to like write everything down word for word and then just look really wooden and just talk into the camera. But again, that's seeing what's possible. So going back to what maybe is misunderstood is the fact that everyone that's neurodiverse, and I would say that's pretty much everyone. But that's my opinion on things about on the root of it. Again, like I mentioned before, but it's that what's misunderstood is that maybe we get to support everyone to be able to express themselves in the way they want to, and maybe there's a gift that anyone can give from the way they think and react and respond to a team, to a company, and to schools. It's just you ask a leading question, you have to draw that particular answer out. Whereas what about open questions to find out what people think? and stuff like that. So it's that's what I think is this self-expression thing is misunderstood, and also how trying to nail it down to one thing, whereas, like for instance, I would like to shift the understanding of maybe dyslexia into more of a better label for it. For instance, like pattern spotter, because it's like, oh, the dyslexic person potentially can see. I find it difficult to I found it difficult to have an opinion when something would come up, because I'd see why someone would say it one way. I'd even have an opinion, but I'd also then wouldn't be able to consign to it, because I could see why everyone has their own opinion. It's really it's like an intuitive understanding and being able to surrender to it. So anyway, I'm going off a tangent here, but yeah.
No, it's good. I liked how you talked about, calling a dyslexic person, pattern finder. I think a pattern spotter, believe is the word that you said. We have something called in India, right? In the culture, we don't call people disabled. It's politically incorrect, but what we call them is differently abled. So that's exactly, how the conversation here it is, and it's awesome that people are moving towards that. And this, I have an interesting question. So if, let's say, you have a magic wand, right, to instantly change one thing about how society views about neurodivergence, what would you zap away?
Okay, so here goes. I actually put together my own summit called the Unique Learning Ability Show, and I loved what you said about the eradicating the disability title, and so that's exactly why I came up with that title. So the one thing I would change with this is the definition of how we react and respond and learn. I'd even like get rid of neurodivergence and get rid of, or they'd be there for they'll be there to understand how that works. But what about if we just look at and find our unique learning ability? And so that's my definition. It would be a dynamic definition that could keep changing based on feedback, and also it becomes a roadmap as well, a dynamic conversational roadmap, not just A to B, but let's have a conversation about how a team can move from A to B using the best qualities of everyone's unique learning abilities to be able to make team-based decisions around business, sustainability. As soon as we're looking at that, it becomes a sustainable model of thinking.
Awesome. It's time for a lightning round. We do this often in our podcast. So what I'm going to do is I will throw out words related to the things that we spoke about: mental toughness, holistic health, things like that. And you need to respond with the first word or phrase that comes to your mind. All good?
Okay. This is a game.
Yes, it's a game.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with the first word: resilience.
Resilience. Well, the first word that comes up in my mind straight away is stress.
Marathon.
Marathon.
Yeah.
Marathon. Ooh. Stamina.
Mountain.
Climber.
Rubber band.
Rubber band. Intention.
Mirror.
Reflect and attract.
Awesome. This or that. To deal with stress, mindful meditation or high intensity workout.
Oh, I don't like either ors.
What do you like?
The first one that comes to mind is the first one, because if we have that, then we can choose to do whatever without getting caught up in.
Curious. Then, what's your go-to method to deal with stress?
What is my method to deal with stress?
Yeah, go-to method.
Go-to method.
If it's not meditation or working out.
Oh, I'd say it kind of is meditation, but it's also different types of breath work, which is obviously that does help you meditate, and there's a meditation process to it. I think it's that's the core of it, but also there's a way. So why the stress is there potentially is to do with our metabolic processes, and the way to bring oxygen and CO2 enough back into the system could be causing the stress. I found that myself.
Got it. Understood. Okay, this or that. Weekend mountain getaway or week-long beach relaxation?
Oh. I think I like mountains, as long as there's some forest as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're asking someone that just will go, well, take a bit of this, take a bit of that.
You could say both, because for me, mountains the best, because I grew up next to a beach, so I try to enjoy the mountains better. But sometimes I like both. Okay, so to relax, playing video games or painting a canvas?
Oh, actually, well, I would swap the canvas for a speaker or some kind of musical instrument, drum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. Travel back in time to meet ancestors or forward to meet your descendants?
Oh, wow. Wow. I guess I think I'd go forwards.
Awesome. Yeah. More time or more money?
More time or more money? Oh, I would say more perspective. Because if with perspective, we can then have more. Yep. We can use our time to get more money.
Exactly. Wonderfully said. One big life-changing moment or small daily victories?
Oh, now I would say the small daily victories. I think if I hadn't have had the big moments, then I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the small victories. I don't think.
Wonderfully said. A book about resilience or podcast about creativity?
Oh, I like both. I love both of those ideas.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, those were the questions I had. Thank you so much for taking having the patience to answer through them. It gives us a lot of clarity about you as a person, and we had a little bit of fun. So that's the reason that I have this lightning round here. So let's get back to the topic of neurodivergence and get to the title of the episode. What are the 3 strategies to navigate anxieties, unleash creativity, and feel empowered as neurodiverse?
Lovely. So, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, navigating anxieties, I would say, is all about recognizing. Unleashing creativity is all about refocusing. And feeling empowered is all about taking committed actions to get the results. Because when we get the results, then we feel empowered. So to navigate the anxieties, we get to recognize that we're there, and recognize that it's not dangerous as such. Well, check that it's dangerous. The whole point is we have a guard that comes up and something's happening. It's either a trigger outside or a perceived trigger outside, or it's something going on inside. And we get to recognize that it's obviously got to make sure it's not a health condition thing, but also if it's anxieties that are coming up, then recognizing that it's safe and self-commanding into the moment and being with the feelings without processing the story. So I call it signal and story that get locked together around how we feel about anything. And so if we can take self-command to take away the space between the signal and the story behind the signal, then we've got signal, space, story, then we're able to then, that might start calming it down, right? And so unleashing creativity is about the refocusing. So physically choose, once we've got out of the feeling negative, feeling difficult, to how do I springboard off that into doing something else? So refocusing into what can I do about it? And when I'm in the creative space, I've calmed down. Creativity comes from relaxation, not from stress as such. We can be creative when we get used to working under pressure to be creative under pressure, but it's about refocusing so that we know that we're not caught up in the old story. We can move forwards with creativity. And then once we've decided what action, what we want to do, what's the first and easy, simple, committed action we can take. It might even just be going for a walk, all the way through to I'm going to build a business that helps people with what I'm helping, or whatever it is. So that's that committed action. As soon as we take the courage, even if we're feeling difficult, then we will feel empowered because we're doing something.
Beautifully said. I think now I have a lot of clarity about neurodiverse, and with these 3 strategies, it will be easy for us to we said in the title, it will be easy for us to navigate anxieties, unleash creativity, and feel empowered. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rory. And let's say someone's entering your coaching program. What support do you offer them as a coach? Someone has an adversity in their life, someone stressed, someone mostly it's with business or personal life or with family, things like that. How would you support them?
Thank you for the question. I'd be first assessing to make sure to see how strong these habitual muscles are, because it's the habitual muscles of stress that are keeping us there in a lot of ways. How we react to what we believe is coming at us from outside and again from the inside, and so it's really about seeing what the severity is of that, and if it's I feel that there's a mental fitness program that I can take people through. It takes 6 weeks, 7 weeks, if necessary. If we don't think that's necessary straight away, so it's a mutual agreement and working it out as we go along. But there's that process. Mental fitness helps us to recognize, and again, what I said before, but to catch the stuff that's difficult, self-command, and just install a habit of self-commanding, and then switching to the positive, intelligent mindset. So not to be positive as in ha 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 ha, but just as in just to be clear and not caught up in the negativity, being able to catch it and shift. So that's the defragmenting of the mind process that can take some time, and then there's also the embodiment of the self-command. So once we've got rid of more of the headspace stuff, we can actually feel our emotions, feel what's going on for us, and that's where I look into the somatic coaching work, which helps with actually getting to the highest wisdoms and highest expressions of a person, but they may not see they want to get this thing done. It's a rational thinking thing, but actually there's something much deeper that is wanted. So it's finding out what that is, and then helping it coax it out and create more of it, and then it allows someone to celebrate themselves. So there's the mental defragmenting, there's the embodiment, self somatic coaching work for the heart and the gut, intuition, to get the intuition going properly. And if there's any movement, health, holistic health, breathwork stuff that can also seems like it's necessary, then I can also do some mentorship around creating a routine, a daily routine as well.
Awesome. Yes, if someone wants to work with you, how can we contact you?
So I've got my link tree, which has all my connections on it. Yep, you've got it there. So that's basically there's a find your place in the world strategy session booking link. You just go straight to it and book in there, and basically what that means is that what it is a 45-minute session that will help to uncover challenges and where you want to go, and that's basically what you can take away with you. And what it does is helps to get clear on that process, so you can go away and make a plan. And what it means is that you don't have to struggle on your own, because that's what often happens. It's the mind says, I've got to deal with this on my own and work it all out. And that's why I offer that, because how will anyone know whether it's something that they want to explore further if they don't get a sense of what it is they truly want to be doing, first of all. And that's why I offer that. Even that session is there for you. So
awesome. Everyone, do check out Rory's Linktree. It's Linktree/Rory Lemon Aid, LEMONAID. So do check that out and give Rory a shout. Rory, thank you so much for your time, energy, and all the valuable experiences that you shared us in this awesome episode. Thank you so much. Is there any last message for our audience?
Well, I'll leave you with this, that I told you that I went through all of that struggle in my past, not knowing that I was a communicator, not knowing how to really express myself other than in an artistic way, and not really being able to then achieve what I really wanted to bring to the world, because even if I did that, I kept hitting brick walls and just not following through on stuff, and time management issues, financial issues, so many things that came up. Following through is a big one, in my past. And so going from that to putting on a 21-day summit where I interview 21 experts, I enroll them into it and become the expert in facilitating the communication, is a testament to what's possible. And so, I thought at that point, when I got the dyslexia diagnosis, I thought that that the sky was the limit, because I was like, oh yeah, I can just relax and be me and not have to talk if I don't want to, and I can just be relaxed and carry on doing what I'm doing. But after getting coached, and also realizing what's way more possible with my unique learning ability, I realized that the sky, there's no limits. So
Wonderfully said.
So
yes.
Yeah, there's no limits to what you can do, there's no limits to who you can be, and there's no limits to what you can achieve. There are no limits.
And there you have it, folks. What an incredible ride it's been with the extraordinary Rory Lemon. A thunderous round of applause for him, please. Your insights, strategies, and the journey you shared with us today, Rory, have not just inspired us, but truly set the stage for a more empowered, more creative, and anxiety free life. Thank you, Rory, for your time, energy, and for being a beacon of hope and empowerment. And you, yes, you are amazing coaches, course creators, dreamers, and doers. Thank you for joining us today on Xpertology Live. Your time, energy, and zest for knowledge are what makes this show a true celebration of learning. We appreciate you and we're thrilled to have you on this journey with us. Just as every great show must come to an end, so too does this episode. But don't fret because this isn't a goodbye, it's just a see you soon. And boy, oh boy, do we have another awesome episode lined up for you. Stay tuned, stay curious, and stay awesome because we will be back with another extraordinary guest, another hot topic, and another chance for you to unlock your full potential. Until then, keep thriving, keep shining, and keep turning those dreams into realities. From all of us here at Xpertology Live, remember the world is your stage and you are the star. Until next time, friends, this is Alex A signing off. Over and out.